good looking DT on the beat. Sometimes I wonder, had to do it the official way. Had to bring Solo and DT in the building. Sometimes I wonder, man, and I just got a lot of stuff on my mind. So you know, I ain't gonna waste too much more time. So sometimes I wonder, I knew it'd be days like this because that's what mama said. Mama prepared me and tried to help me to overstand that we are only men and God created us all in His complexion and color of skin. Sometimes I wonder if I can make a change and resolve. So many problems, it's hard to figure out where to start. So many issues as people, we need to get involved. Just pick a cause, lift a finger or give a damn at all. Sometimes I wonder if I am all talk and have the balls to take up arms if it's necessary and break some laws. We came so far, but there's so much more that needs to be done. The ballad or the bullet, they butcher in the Quran. Associate terrorists with Muslims and put them all in a box and stereotype them and paint them all as extremists believing life is all a jihad. Sometimes I wonder if it'll all ever be resolved. If we could just readjust, if we could just reconnect, if we could just reassess, if we could just readjust, if we could just readjust, if we could just reconnect, if we could just reassess, if we could just
escape like the 80s, new wave and crack babies, AIDS and Ronald Reagan, a rock in the hard places, adjacent to dark spaces, scarred like car chases. The bar we all raise, but can't we handle the weight? They moving it out of state, intruding your outer space, makes me feel out of place, like I'm about to be erased. I wonder, is it me or is it you that represents the reasons why I do what I do? I wonder why we judge each other, screw each other, grudge each other. We need to push each other, live together, love each other. I wonder if the fact that I can wonder if is a sign I'm just divine enough to give the world a gift.
If we could just readjust, if we could just reconnect, if we could just reassess, if we could just readjust, if we could just readjust, if we could just reconnect, if we could just reassess, if we could just
as I sit back in one of the most dangerous times of Earth's history, I'm steadily designing these rhymes to deal with the misery, far from Kathy Bates and James Caan, cause of the truth stand more than the cover stand James Bond. So often I take rides on the train to the East Point side of things to enliven the king. In my soul, who only knows to go live in the pain, but the mind holds the fear that keeps the body restrained. Now I wonder why we don't try embracing the pain, like we embrace the pleasure, not seeing the work together like the sun and the rain. Whichever brother grow heavily, I'm mighty like the oak tree, strong in the storm despite the alarm. As the woman announced my spot on the speaker, I wonder how many times would it take to reach a person blind in this darkness, alone in this wilderness, and many as it take until they come to their senses and understand the way out is really within, digging deep to make an impact on these streets, not using the heat or the money in the dope, keeping niggas in beef, locked up and baby rocked to sleep. I wonder so much I can write past and into this beat. I couldn't fully explain the many odds against we. That's why I'm building with DT and s.o.u.l to help you regain your focus, so you can take notice, so you know this.
We could just readjust, if we could just reconnect, if we could just reassess, if we could just readjust, if we could just readjust, if we could just reconnect, if we could just reassess, if we could just
to the sky, but I'm ready, tired of asking and why. Now it's time to arrange some things.